Today we are covering lesson 23-2 on population growth. This lesson will be split into 6 sections. We will cover questions 1 to 3, question 4, question 5 to 8, question 9 to 12, question 13 to 16, and then question 17 and 18. Let's go ahead and get started. The population of Nevada since 1950 is shown in the table in the My Notes section. Graph the data from the table. All right, let's take a look. It says in 1950, the population was 160,083 people. Well, it looks like this is 400,000, so that means that this little hash mark in between should be every 200,000. Well, in 1950, it was below 200,000. So I'm going to say it was right about here. Okay. It's close to 200,000, but not quite there. Now, recall that if this is 400,000, that means about halfway between would be 300,000. So keep that in mind as we go to graph 1960. 1960 has 285,278 people. So not quite at the halfway mark, because the halfway mark would be 300,000. Okay. In 1970, it was 488,736. Again, not at the halfway, about 500, but kind of close to it. Then it says in 1980, there were 800,508 people. So that's right close to that 800 mark. That was in 1980. Then we've got 1990, 1,201,833. So let's see. This is the 1.2 mil. Right close to there. All right. And here we have right under 2 million in the year 2000. Use the table and or graph to explain that why this data is not linear. Using the table, there is not a constant rate of change. Using the graph, this is clearly not a straight line. Number 3. Complete the table by finding the approximate ratio between the populations in each decade. So over here, they counted decades since 1950. Well, in 1950, there are 0 decades that have passed. 1960 would have been 1 decade since 1950. This would have been 1970. This was 1960. 1970. This would have been 1980, 1990, and then 2000. And it says the resident population in those years. Notice they just copied this data back over from the table in the My Notes section. But now to find the ratio, they're taking the amount current, dividing it by the previous amount. So we're going to roll through the rest of these. They've done 1960 for us. They did 285,000 divided by divided by the 160. Now we're going to do 488 738 people divided by 285,278. This is approximately 1.713. Now we're going to take the 800, 508 and divide by 488, 738. I get approximately 1.638. I'm going to take the 1,201,833 people and divide by 800,508 people. That's approximately 1.501. Then we've got 1,998,257 people divided by the 1,201,833 people. Oops, sorry. Whenever I divided that, I typed in too many threes. And it gives me approximately 1.663. B. Explain how this table shows that the data are not exponential. Remember, exponential means that they multiply by the same number each time. Does this have a constant ratio? No. Does not have a constant ratio. Or factor is another phrase you could have used here. Make sure you get the information written down from the table, and then we'll move on to the next set of questions.